Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk a little about what the Black History Month is and give some examples of the models that made big differences by eliminating how Americans treat each other, such as Ella Baker, Martin Luther King Jr., Marian Wright Edelman, Steve Harvey, and Carter Woodson. As well, we will have some questions that we have already posted on Facebook, as we hope you answer them. So, first, how it started. In 1915, in regards to the lack of information on the accomplishments of Black people available to the public, the historian Carter G. Woodson co-founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. And in 1926, the association announced that the second week of February as Negro History Week to realize the contributions of African Americans to U.S. history. And Carter G. Woodson, the creator of Negro History Week that was known as Black History Month for children.
Ella Josephine Baker. She was an African American civil rights and human rights. She was born on December 13, 1903, in Norfolk. She had an older brother named Blake Baker and a younger sister. She worked as a field secretary and as a director of branches. She was called back then the mother of the civil rights movement. She was called by that name because of what she has done in shaping the improvement of the civil rights movement in America. Some of her quotes that made her famous and a person who can have people trust is, one of the things that has to be faced is the process of waiting to change the system, how much we have got to do to find out who we are, where we have come from and where we are going by Ella Baker. And the final actions by Ella Baker that she did in her final years, in 1967 she went to New York City and there she worked with Arthur King to form the Mass Party Organizing Committee. Awards. First of all, she got honored from the University of California. Second of all, because of her actions, the former Woodrow Wilson School was named after her, and its new name was Baker School. Sadly, she died on December 13, 1986 in Manhattan.
Martin was the son of an early civil rights activist and a minister. His father was Martin Luther King Sr. He was the reason that Martin grew up to become just like him, even better. He was one of the most important characters who fought for freedom and human rights. He even got arrested 29 times, although he didn't use violence even once in his life. At first, Martin hated white people and even despised them because of the racism that he got since he was a kid, until he read about nonviolent activism of Mahatma Gandhi, and inspired by his Christian beliefs, he began to resist nonviolently against Jim Crow laws and other forms of discrimination. His adoption of nonviolent resistance to achieve equal rights for African Americans earned him the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. He was the youngest person that received it. Martin is remembered for his master oratorical skill, most memorably in his speech, I Have a Dream, that is known to be the finest speech in the history of American oratory. In his entire life, Martin received several awards for his leadership in the civil rights movement. He was the first African American who got doctorate in civil law. Besides that, he was the first African American that became the Man of the Year.
Now we'll talk about the founder of the CDF, Marian Wright Edelman. Marian Wright Edelman. She was born in 1939, a civil rights activist, founded the Children's Defense Fund to ensure that those who cannot help themselves are helped by others. The Tyres African American woman admitted to the state bar in Mississippi. She established CDF, which is considered the most powerful children's lobby to help poor children and to coordinate nationwide activities to help children. She worked to pursue United States Congress to overhaul foster care, support adoption, improve child care, protect children who are disabled, homeless, abused, or neglected. CDF, which stands for Children's Defense Fund, it became the strongest voice for children and families. It pushed for policies to address racial injustice and economic equality. She won many awards, including the 1982 Candace Award National Coalition of 100 Black Women. 1971, she was the first Black woman on the Yale Board of Trustees. 1991, award for the greatest public service benefiting the disadvantaged, an award given out annually by Jefferson Awards. 1995, Community of Christ International Peace Award, and the 2000s Presidential Medal of Freedom. She as well influenced leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr. and Hillary Clinton.
Now we're going to talk about the one that was known as the father of Black history again, who established the scholarly publication Journal of Negro History, as well as he helped found the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. Behind that, he wrote more than a dozen books as A Century of Negro Migration and The Negro in Our History.
Now I will talk about Stephen Harvey. He's one of the most famous TV hosts in the world, and he was born in January 17, 1957 in Welch. He started his career as a comedian, and he succeeded, and that led him to a starring role on the short-lived ABC series, which called Me and the Boys. After that, Harvey succeeded a lot and started his own show. And he won many awards. As example, he won 7 Emmy Awards, 7 NAACP Image Awards, and many others. Also, Steve Harvey is a person who loves to help people, especially kids, like in his foundation, which is called Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation, that hosts a yearly camp for fatherless children, and he has many quotes about helping people.
Even though these and many more Black people did so much for them to be treated equally, we still see racism everywhere and every day. People would call the cops on you if you were a Black person for no reason, follow you in a store to prevent you from stealing, accuse you of things, no matter your age. People still try and make them feel less human than any of us. George Floyd, for example, he received an unfair death. We need to change that by spreading awareness and going out on demonstrations, because this is an important matter.